I don't know where you're at in life, but I'm sure most of you already know what the fuck your life looked like when you were lazy. What your life looked like when you wasted time on people who didn't give a fuck about you. You already know what your life looked like. And obviously, none of us enjoyed it. So why don't you start trying to see what your life looked like if you started acting like the opposite? What does your life look like when you have some self control? What does your life look like when you're actually being picky about the people who come into your life? What does your life look like when you start going after ambitious goals even though you're intimidated by them? What does your life look like when you start putting yourself first? Don't you want to find out what that life looks like? Because you already know the other side of the coin. You already know what your life looks like when you are indulging in unhealthy habits, when you do nothing for yourself, when you let fear stop you. You already know what that life looks like. Guys, like, let's change the chapter. Let's see what your life looks like when you do all of the opposite things. Hey guys, welcome back to the Veda Mindset Podcast. I don't really have a clear topic planned for this episode. I'm kind of just going to be talking about what I've been going through and some of my realizations and probably give advice along the way. My life has just been so busy that I haven't had the time to sit down and plan out like a solid topic. And I feel like I myself have been going through so many realizations that I just want to talk about so many different things. And then I realized, like, this is my podcast. I actually can just come on here and talk about whatever I want to talk about. Like, it doesn't have to be so like clearly planned. And also sometimes I kind of want to have my own therapy session. And I don't know if that sounds weird, but I feel like coming on here and talking about what I've been going through and my feelings and my realizations is also like a personalized little therapy session for me. And if that helps some of you guys too, then that's great. But I kind of just want to let you guys in on my life and things I've been going through. And I want to share my thoughts with you guys because I feel like it helps me feel closer. Because if somebody listening to this also relates, then it makes me feel less alone. Before I continue this episode, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go ahead and give my podcast a rating on Spotify or Apple if that's where you're listening to it on. And if you want to see more of my life, more of my personal thoughts, you can follow me on Instagram or on TikTok. I will leave that in the description. I don't even know where to begin. So I'm going to start off with the most like obvious idea in my head right now. And it's basically wanting to recap with you guys how I've been going through my breakup. It's been 3 months since I just went through a breakup. And honestly, it hasn't been easy, but it hasn't been terrible. And I feel like this is because maybe I'm a bit older and I've gone through breakups before and I know exactly what to do. But also I feel like I am navigating this breakup very differently than I've navigated every other breakup because I genuinely am trying to focus on myself. I started to feel like it's so easy to just take easy way out. It's like so many people, whenever they go through a breakup, they go on like a bunch of dating apps and then they go out and they party their asses off. And I can tell you that I'm not doing any of those things. Like, I'm doing quite the opposite. And if anything, I feel like these days I'm rejecting a lot of things. Like, people who do want to take me out, I find myself saying no because I kind of just want to focus on myself. And honestly, maybe I should lighten up a bit. I've been extremely focused on myself and just being very disciplined, and I'm doing a lot of martial arts. I'm getting ready for competitions, and that's where my mind has been. So I've been pouring into myself a lot and just saying no to a lot of things that past Veda probably would have said yes to. I kind of just want to experience life alone. Like, I want to see how far I can get just on my own. I don't want any distractions. I don't know if this is making any sense. I want to marinate in my solitude because in the past, I would always take the easy way out. I would cut my solitude time very short. And now I kind of just want to marinate in it. And does it suck? Yeah. Guys, whenever you're used to having someone, and especially if you were in a long-term relationship, being alone, you can feel the difference. Like when you're genuinely alone, like it sucks. And not even in the like the physical intimacy case. Like I mean like you don't have anyone to go to anymore. Whenever you're upset, there's no one for you to call up and say, "Hey, like can you be there for me?" And yeah, like I do have like good friends, but like with your relationship it's different. Like you can call them up and they understand you, like they've been there, they know who you are, like they know all the parts about you, so they know what to tell you. So I've been feeling really alone because I don't have that person that was always there for me, and the person that would always call up like whenever I'm upset or going through something. My ex definitely took on that role, like a lot of people's romantic partners do. So for me these days, I've been trying to learn how to be more self-reliant. I will lean on my friends if I need to, but I am trying to see what life looks like when I can just depend on myself. And I feel like that was a really big issue with me. And I'm learning in therapy a lot about myself right now. But basically, I realized that I was a lot more codependent than I thought I was. And I just really don't want to be that person anymore. I kind of want to see what life looks like when I depend on myself and I'm not dependent on someone else. And I realized that maybe in my past relationship, I was maybe a bit codependent, and not in the way, like when I say codependent, I feel like a lot of people automatically think like, oh, what, you had anxiety being away from your partner, like you were with them like every second. Like it's not like that, because I would say with my last relationship, we really didn't see each other every single day of the week. Honestly, sometimes like it was only weekends because of how busy we were. But I feel like I depended on my partner for validation and sense of security and just reassurance in all areas of life. I feel like I used my partner as a compass. And what should I do? Is this okay? This is where I'm going in life. Like, what do you think about this? Basically, I just feel like maybe I put a little bit too much weight on the partner I was with and maybe depended on them for too much guidance in life. And I kind of don't want to be like that anymore. And I don't know, I guess I just want to learn how to trust myself more. I think that's the thing. I feel like I lacked a lot of trust within myself, and I kind of rely on my partner for guidance a lot. And I don't want to be like that anymore. Like, especially emotional comfort too. Like, I don't always need my romantic partner to soothe me. I should be able to soothe myself. And these are things I'm realizing now being single. But yeah, these are things I want to work on. And I'm actually really glad that I'm realizing these things and I'm going to therapy. Therapy helps a lot. And I get it. Not everyone wants to go to therapy and not all therapists are good. I have gone through a lot of therapists. I've gone through a bunch of different people, and I feel like finding your therapist is like shopping, and I finally found a solid one. Therapy has helped me a lot, and I'm a really stubborn person. I am not afraid to admit that I feel like I'm always in the right, and I tend to think that I can do no wrong. And that's why therapy helps, because it makes me come back down to earth and realize that it takes two. Like relationships, in regards to relationships, like it takes two. And I start to see like things I could have done better. But yeah, anyway, these days I'm trying to learn how to be more self-reliant. And like I said previously, I kind of depended on my romantic partner a lot more for just things in life. Like if I was unsure about something, I'd call up my partner and be like, hey, like what should I do about this? And I know that seems like a really small thing, but when you don't trust yourself and you're always asking people for guidance, it starts to feel like you're a baby and you're asking people to parent you. And I started to realize, maybe that's the dynamic that had formed, where I kind of put my ex-partner in the position of like a parent figure, always guiding me, always being there for me, always being that emotional comfort for me. And that's not a fair thing to do to your partner. That's not a fair thing to do to anyone. And I think a lot of this is because I'm a twin, and I feel like I always had someone there with me all through life growing up. So I never knew what it was like to be alone and develop trust within myself and be okay by myself. Another huge aspect to this is my parents too. I feel like my parents were too there for me. Like, I'm very fortunate that I had parents that loved me and were there for me, but I feel like they coddled me too much, where I'm always looking to them for guidance, and it bled into my relationships as an adult. I guess I end up looking to my romantic partner to parent me and give me guidance and give me comfort, when in reality I need to start doing these things for myself. Like, I need to learn how to parent myself. Like, I'm an adult, I'm not a baby. These are just issues I've been realizing that I've had, and I'm finally getting to work through them. And that is why I'm really trying to be alone during this period, because like I said, a lot of people, like, they get out of a relationship and they're on these dating apps, they're like hooking up with all these people, they're going out all these parties, and I'm like, that's what we're not gonna do. I've been doing really good about just focusing on myself, but like I said, I feel like I've been secluding myself too much. Maybe I feel like I'm such an all or nothing person that when I'm like, okay, like, I'm gonna be alone, I end up secluding myself too much. And it's okay to have like a good amount of fun. Like, it's okay to connect with people. Like, it's okay to like meet new people. Just like have an understanding of where you're doing this and why you're doing this. Like, for example, going out with friends and connecting with new people and meeting someone and hanging out with them, honestly, that's not bad right now. Like, that's okay. But going on a dating app, messaging a bunch of people, like, that's not okay. That's not what I want to do. No hate to you if you do that. Actually, yes, hate to you. But anyway, I just am realizing, like, it's okay to have fun and experience things and meet new people. Just understand the intentions behind it and why you're doing this and where you're meeting these people. Because what we're not going to be doing is going on fucking a bunch of dating apps and wasting your time and trying to get another boyfriend or something, because I don't know, guys. Like, I'm not a fucking baby anymore. I'm not 16, guys. Like, it's time to grow up. I'm like saying we, me, like, I'm talking to both of us, if you relate. But we're not like 16 anymore. Like, we don't need to be jumping from relationship to relationship. And if you jump from relationship to relationship, it doesn't allow you to understand your flaws. All those things I was talking about, all these flaws I was realizing I have, I would not be able to realize those things if I got another boyfriend in 2 seconds. So that's why I bring up the importance of learning how to be alone. And especially for me, who is kind of like more of like an anxious person who has a habit of being more codependent, you got to learn how to be alone. And it's better to learn how to be alone now than when you're 50. Another thing I've recently been starting to learn is how to stop caring, how to stop giving a fuck. And I mean in all areas. I am the type of person that cares a lot about everything, and it's so exhausting. I always want to please people. I always want to do everything correctly. I hate making mistakes because I feel like it means something about me and my worthiness. And that is the belief I'm trying to undo. Like, mistakes I make, or a performance not being good enough, or an outcome happens that I didn't want, like, that doesn't mean anything about me and my character. I feel like what defines your character the most is like the things you do every single day, like how devoted you are to yourself, how you are trying to grow and be healthy, the things that you are trying to do. For example, I have a competition coming up, and every single time I have a jiu-jitsu competition coming up, I do a lot of self-reflection, because for me, it triggers a lot of my limiting beliefs and a lot of my insecurities. And I have a big underlying belief of not feeling good enough, and it comes out a lot in martial arts. Like, I'm always like, oh, if I don't win that, then like I suck and I'm not worthy. And this is what I'm talking about. I kind of just want to stop caring about the outcome, because what matters is the effort I'm putting in every single day. That's what I say. Like, as long as you are trying, like, nothing matters. Like, the outcome doesn't matter. What people think of you doesn't matter. As long as you're trying to implement better habits and you're working towards your goals every day, like, that says more about your character than the outcome or the result. And another really great thing that happens when you stop caring, about people's thoughts about you, when you stop caring about the result or the outcome, you actually start doing everything you've been wanting to do. You start taking more risks. You start throwing yourself into the fucking fire. Like, you just start throwing yourself in things because you want to. You don't wait around for the perfect moment. You don't wait around to have the feeling of being ready. You just throw yourself in, and you realize that that's the point of life. Life starts to get way more fun when you stop caring so much, especially so much about what people think about you. I have had a really big problem with that, and I've been meaning to make a whole episode on how to stop caring about what people think about you. But the reason why I don't make that episode is because I still have that problem, and I don't know when that problem's gonna go away. I have such a deep insecurity with always analyzing what people think about me, and I always wonder, like, do they like me? Do they think I'm weird? Am I good enough? Am I good enough for them? Like, I'm always thinking like that, and it has me it makes me shift my personality depending on who I'm with, or it'll make me like dim my light depending on the environment, and it's so draining. That's why I said when I stopped caring, well, I recently tried to stop caring, guys. These things come in waves for me. Recently, I've made the decision to just stop giving a fuck, and we'll see how long that lasts for. But when I stopped caring, it literally lifts a weight off my chest. It's like it turns my black and white life into like a life of color. I don't know how to explain it, but life gets so much better when you stop caring about what people think about you, and you stop overanalyzing yourself and your behaviors, and if you're presenting yourself the right way. When you stop caring about everyone else's perceptions of you, life gets 10 times better. You start to take the actions you want to take because you're not so caught up in like, oh, but if I do that, that person will think that about me. Like, you're not caught up in that anymore because you only care about yourself and your opinion of you. And also another thing I realized is like literally nobody does care about you. Like, nobody cares. How I go in a loop in my head about all the things I'm scared of and all the insecurities I have, that's how everyone else is with themselves. So I'm here thinking that that person is seeing all my imperfections. In reality, like, they're literally thinking about themselves and their own imperfections. And I just started to realize that, like, everybody's in their own goddamn world. I'm so in my own goddamn world. I don't care about that person. I don't care about how you present it to yourself or how you talk. Like, I don't care about that because I'm so involved with myself and my own thoughts. And I realized, like, oh yeah, nobody cares about me. Like, if anything, I'm my worst critic. Like, I insult myself the most. And that's another thing that I've been working on. I've been working on trying to be nicer to myself. Because I've said in the past, you can't hate yourself into being better. You think you can, and maybe it can get you a little bit far. But even when you reach success and you do accomplish things with that way of being, you reach success and you're still insecure and you still think you're not good enough, and you still have to keep doing more things to feel good enough. So I don't think you can genuinely hate yourself into being better. Whenever you become better, you'll still hate yourself and you feel like you have to reach another level to make yourself feel better, and it just never ends. And honestly, I'm starting to realize, like, this is the beauty of breakups. Everything I'm talking to you guys about, all these realizations I'm having, it's because I'm forced to face them because I no longer have a relationship to lean on. And that doesn't mean being in a relationship is bad. I'm just trying to see the beauty in my pain, guys. But no, seriously, I think if it weren't for the breakup I've gone through recently, like, I wouldn't have the the time or the energy to even see all these flaws about me, because like you're in a relationship and you're comfortable and you have like emotional support with you, and then you get out of the relationship and then you realize you have no emotional support, you have like a bunch of insecurities and you have to fix it. And that's what a breakup does. It pushes you to fix all these things about yourself, unless you start distracting yourself with drugs, alcohol, and hookups, which I don't do, and you shouldn't do either. Just know that the more distractions you place in your life, the more mediocre your life is going to be, and the longer it's going to take for you to ever reach your true potential. Developing a quality life and quality relationships and a quality relationship with yourself takes time and nurturing. These things don't come fast. And I don't want to say great things don't come fast because it might sound like a limiting belief, but genuinely, the way I believe the world works is if it's coming fast, then it's gonna leave fast. Like if you gain something really fast, like a new relationship and everything's on fire and everything's really great and you guys like started dating immediately, that relationship is probably not going to be sustainable because things that happen fast end fast. And that's just what I've seen through life, through experiences. That's why I feel like everything good in life is like a slow burn. You want to develop a quality life, then you're going to have to put time into yourself every single day. That amazing job and those amazing life opportunities don't just randomly fall in your lap. I believe it takes some intentionality and aligning yourself with that life. And aligning yourself with that life can take some time. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people aren't okay with. They want the instant gratification. They want that relationship now. They want all that money now. They want the life and that life success now. They want everything now. And I'm not trying to be like one of those people who are like, oh no, you gotta work your fucking ass off for everything in life. Because I also think that's another extreme. I don't really believe that either. I feel like that's a belief system my parents' generation had. I think times are changing and you can make money a lot easier now because of social media and all this like technology we have now. But I feel like there's a balance, and I don't feel like it's correct to just always want that immediate gratification. You want everything now. When you learn that great things come with the slow burn, you start to appreciate the journey of it. Because I'm going through a breakup, I'll use this as an example. Like, it's so easy to just get into another relationship. Like, it's so easy to just go smoke and drink my pain away. It's so easy to go party and fill my time up with time filler friends. And there you go. My life is gonna feel great. But long term, what does that do for me? Absolutely fucking nothing. And living that life ends up feeling pretty empty. That's why I say, like, things that come fast, the pleasures that come fast, they're gonna leave fast too. All those friends you make, all those time filler friends, like, how real are they? That rebound relationship you get into, are you trying to fill a void with that? Like, what are you trying to do? You start to realize all those things are superficial, and if you want a meaningful life, you're gonna have to put the time and effort for that meaningful life. And it doesn't look great all the time. You're gonna feel sad, and that is kind of the path I'm taking. Just trying to allow myself to endure those hard times and not use immediate gratification to fill that void. I desire a life where I am truly content with myself, where I genuinely feel like I have developed a strong amount of self-respect and boundaries, a life where I have solid friends and a solid romantic relationship, a life where I feel like I am pursuing my goals, a life where I allow myself to be brave and do things that intimidate me. And that takes a lot of discipline and devotion. I'm not going to go through that whole discipline talk because I feel like it's very repetitive. Like, everyone tells you, like, oh, you gotta be disciplined, which, yeah, I agree, but I feel like it has a lot to do with like devotion to yourself. Like if you are devoted to yourself and you are devoted to giving yourself the best shot at life, if you are devoted to giving yourself the best relationship, the most successful job, the most successful outcome, if you're devoted to that vision for yourself, it's gonna make you change the way you act. It's gonna make you develop healthy habits. It's gonna make you have to be disciplined because you are so devoted to this vision of your future that you're not gonna follow the crowd anymore. And that's the path I'm on. Because, guys, like, I already know what my life looks like when I'm lazy. I already know what my life looks like when I just go out and party and talk to whoever and waste my time on people. Like, I already know what my life looks like. So why don't I go see what my life looks like when I'm doing all the opposite things? And that's what I want to tell you guys. Like, I don't know where you're at in life, but I'm sure most of you already know what the fuck your life looked like when you were lazy. What your life looked like when you wasted time on people who didn't give a fuck about you. You already know what your life looked like. And obviously none of us enjoyed it. So why don't you start trying to see what your life looked like if you started acting like the opposite? What does your life look like when you have some self-control? What does your life look like when you're actually being picky about the people who come into your life? What does your life look like when you start going after ambitious goals even though you're intimidated by them? What does your life look like when you start putting yourself first? Don't you want to find out what that life looks like? Because you already know the other side of the coin. You already know what your life looks like when you are indulging in unhealthy habits, when you do nothing for yourself, when you let fear stop you. You already know what that life looks like. Guys, like, let's change the chapter. Let's see what your life looks like when you do all of the opposite things. Then that's what I told myself. Oh my god, damn, Beto, I already know what your life looks like when you indulge in toxic habits and toxic cycles and you waste time on things that don't need your attention. We already know what your life looks like when you're doing that. And now let's be curious about what your life looks like when you're actually trying to give yourself the best. I'm already 3 months in. I'm already 3 months into this life, and it's fucking amazing. So I encourage you guys to do the same. For myself, I realized that in order to reach my full potential and see what life truly has to offer for me, I like to do things that intimidate me. Because what is life without tackling the things that intimidate you? And intimidation is different than hard things. Going to the gym every day is hard, you know, like that's a hard thing. Like, it takes discipline to get up and go to the gym. Going to compete in martial arts and potentially get your ass kicked, that's intimidating. And I'm just relaying like my thought process for my life. So I started to realize, okay, like I do a lot of hard things, but I want to start doing more intimidating things. And for me, that's competing. And that's why I'm kind of just throwing myself into the fire of it this season. Like, I am fucking going all in. And that's where I grow the most. And it doesn't just have to be martial arts competitions. Like, it could be anything that, you know, like gets your heart racing. Like public speaking. God damn, guys. That still scares me. But I just want to offer you guys a different perspective. Like, that's great if you're being disciplined and you're doing hard things, going to the gym and like eating healthy and you know, that those are hard things. Challenge yourself to do something that intimidates you, because I feel like that's what allows you to experience the most out of life. What is life if you don't face your fears? Like, what is life without that little like rush of adrenaline? What is life without showing yourself what you're capable of? But yeah, I just started to realize that life is more fun and way more meaningful when you allow yourself to do things that you're intimidated of doing. Not just things that are hard, things that make your heart race a little bit because you feel like maybe you're not fit enough for the challenge. Like, maybe you don't think you're gonna do great. Like, and that's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter what the outcome is. It matters that you just do it. So whatever that thing is for you, whatever intimidates you, I would challenge you to go do it. Do it with me. I am actively doing things that intimidate me. And honestly, like, it would make me feel so great if I knew that I wasn't alone in doing these things. And again, like I said, the outcome doesn't matter. Like, let's say like doing something intimidating for you is public speaking. How you do in it doesn't fucking matter. Like, I don't care if you sat up there and were stuttering the whole time. Like, what matters is that you did it. That shows more about your character than the outcome of it. The outcome of things don't matter. It's the fact that you are putting in effort to go do that. Because a lot of things that you're doing, probably a lot of people are too scared to do. And I'm trying to get you to be the type of person that doesn't shy away from things that scare you. A lot of people shy away from everything, guys. Like, so many people shy away because they feel like they're not good enough, that they're not ready, that they just need to wait longer. They come up with so many excuses. And if you're looking for excuses, you'll find them. But if you start looking for solutions, if you start realizing, no, like, I can do this, and you tell your brain, no, this is possible for me, your brain's going to tell you all the reasons why it's possible for you. But if you tell your brain, no, like, that could never be us, we can't do that, your brain will give you all the reasons on why that can't be you. And that's why I say, like, get into the habit of just throwing yourself into the fire, guys. Like, that's what I do. I know maybe it doesn't work for everyone. It's just, I feel like too many of us are held back by fear and intimidation. And for me, in my journey currently, those are the obstacles I'm getting through. I don't want to live a life where I'm always like held back by fear and insecurity. Like, how annoying is it to want to do something, but then think, oh no, I'm not good enough for that. Like, I could never do that. Like, are you kidding me? You're gonna live a boring life if you always let that voice win. I feel like life is so much more fun when you're like, yeah, I can do it. I don't give a fuck what the outcome is, but I'll go ahead and try. Life is way better when you go at it with that perspective. That's how you grow. That's how you develop more resilience. And that's how you stop caring so much about life circumstances and what people think about you. Like, you stop caring about the outcome of things because you have gotten so used to just rolling with the punches, like going with the flow. Like, you throw yourself into something even though it intimidated you, and that's the only thing that matters, not the outcome. I just want you to be tired of holding yourself back. Like, stop holding yourself back because you don't believe it's possible for you, because you believe you're not good enough. Like, who cares? Who cares? Like, I got to the point where I'm like, I don't care anymore. Like, I have all those thoughts of I'm not good enough, I'm not talented enough, nobody cares about me, everybody is gonna make fun of me if I mess up. Like, I have all of those thoughts, and I got so tired of it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. Like, I'm done listening to those thoughts. Yeah, those thoughts, you can stay there, but I'm not gonna hold any meaning to them because it's so draining holding yourself back from what life wants to offer you. Stop holding yourself back. Get tired of holding yourself back. Get tired of listening to those thoughts that are constantly telling you that you're not good enough. Your thoughts, those negative thoughts, they're not truth. I know they feel like it is, but they don't have to be truth. You're the one that's making it true. They don't have to be true at all. And I can sit here all day and tell you that you are capable and to believe in yourself and that you are worthy and you can tackle big things. But genuinely, it doesn't matter how many people believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. And that is what I've learned recently. I have this huge lack of belief in myself. And I would always go to people around me to give me some sort of validation. Like, I would always ask people like, oh, am I doing good enough? Am I performing correctly? Do you think I'm good at this? And obviously people are going to encourage me. People are going to tell me like, dude, you got this. Like, believe in yourself. Like, I believe in you. All that validation literally goes through one ear and out the other because I don't believe in myself. And I start to realize, like, damn, doesn't matter how many people tell me I'm great because I don't think I'm great. And it's time to work on that. Stop going to a bunch of people for reassurance because their reassurance is only going to do so much. If you don't believe in yourself, that's what's holding you back. It doesn't matter how many people are rooting for you if you are constantly putting yourself down. And the way I'm tackling this right now is by just not letting those insecure thoughts win. Like I'm tired of letting those insecure thoughts win. For me, I started to get really I struggled with so much anxiety and so much insecurity so deeply that it was like infiltrating every single day. Like it was literally getting in the way of every single day in my social interactions and just the goals I wanted to complete. Like my anxiety and my insecurities ran so deep that it was messing me up so bad to the point where I was just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I can't continue this way anymore. I have to let it go and I have to just not care about that insecure voice and just keep doing what I'm doing and go after my goals anyway and just try to achieve what I want to achieve despite those insecure thoughts. And that is how I've managed to kind of start thinking of myself better and develop more confidence in myself because I got to such a bad place where I just couldn't operate like that anymore. But you don't have to wait till you hit rock bottom to start changing. It's just that's what happened to me. And I don't want you guys to have to hit rock bottom because it fucking sucks there to have to rebuild yourself up from such a low point. The one way where I kind of learned how to stop listening to that insecure voice is by just learning how to validate myself. Because I was so insecure, I needed validation from everyone else around me. Like I needed somebody to tell me that they're proud of me, and then that makes it true. But that would only make the cycle keep going. I was in this toxic loop of feeling insecure, going to someone for validation, and then when they tell me that they're proud of me and that I'm on the right track, then I feel better. That did never helped because like I said, if you don't believe in yourself, someone else believing you like doesn't make a difference. So what I started to do was stop going to people for validation. Stop caring if people are proud of you. Stop caring about what other people think about you. Are you proud of yourself? Do you believe that you've been putting in effort? Do you believe you have the capability of reaching your dreams? Then that's all that matters. Stop going to everyone else around you for some sort of validation or some sort of reassurance because it doesn't matter what they say to you if you are still so insecure and you don't believe in yourself. Another thing you could start doing to start learning how to believe in yourself is open up your journal, get a piece of paper, and start bullet pointing every single thing you've done, like a goal you've achieved or something you've done that you're proud of yourself about. Write it all down. I don't care if it's like a small goal either. Write it all down so you can see on paper how amazing you are because we tend to forget all of these things we've accomplished. Our minds have a negativity bias. We're always looking at the negative. We're always looking at our shortcomings. We remember our one shortcoming over the 10 accomplishments we've had. So if you write down bullet points of, dude, just give me 10 bullet points of things you've done that you're proud of yourself about. That's fine. Write it down and look back to it. Every single time you find yourself doubting yourself and you feel like I'm not capable of doing that. Oh, I don't believe in myself. Oh, that person's better than me. I'll never make it. Go look at that piece of paper. And I feel like that will help you realize like I actually am capable. I've done all of these things and I can do more. I don't have to just look at the negative in my life. Like I have things to show for. Having like a physical piece of paper that shows you things you've done and things you've accomplished helps you remember who you are. I'm gonna shift gears a bit because my mind is spinning in circles and I feel like there are other topics I want to talk about before I end this episode. I forgot to touch on New Year's. I felt bad that I don't really post anything meaningful like for New Year's, like, oh, like New Year's goals, like, oh, like what a bad example of me to not post about New Year's goals. And it's genuinely because I don't really believe in them. Like, I don't know, maybe like I'm a bit of a realist, but I don't really care about changing my life on the new year. Like I kind of just change my life and do better the day that I choose to be. That doesn't mean like having your New Year's intentions and your vision boards like isn't valid. Like do whatever you need to do, But I feel like a lot of it is like for show. I feel like a lot of people just like post whatever for like the Instagram likes and like the engagement. Because personally for me, I just feel like you don't have to wait for a certain date to change your life. If you want to change your life today, you can. And I guess like I've just operated like that. I mean, my last New Year's resolution was to floss more. So I had that resolution. But like when people say like, "Oh, I'm going to change my whole life and I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that." Like it starts at such a high because of the holiday and then you just stop doing everything you said you were going to do because there wasn't like a true intention. You were like, "Oh, like the New Year's, like New Year's, new me." Like, bro, if you don't genuinely have core reasons on why you want to change other than it being the new year, then all those changes you're going to implement are going to fall off. You know, you're not going to go through with them. I don't know. I guess I'm more of the new year, same me. Because I don't really feel like I have to change anything about my life because I have already decided what I want to do with it. Like, I don't wait for a date to come along until I start changing my life. I probably sound really negative, guys, but I'm just being honest, so don't come for me. If you love the new year and you love like calling in change in the new year because it's 2025 and this is the time that you're, you know, revamping everything and you're going to the gym, like that's great. I'm happy for you. That's better than sitting on your couch and eating chips. But I guess for me, I kind of just change whenever I want to change. If I want to change my life today, I will. I'm not going to wait till 2026, you know. That's why I don't really go all out and post a bunch of like new year, new me 2025 goals because I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit for show. I don't know, social media kind of ruins everything for me. But yeah, the topic I'll end on is the fact that I am currently trying to start depending on myself and stop depending on everyone else and everything else for happiness. I think that kind of resonated to what I talked about in the beginning, like going through my breakup and stuff. But if you have had an initial issue of depending on people, depending on validation, depending on things around you for happiness, like you're not alone. I have struggled with the same things, and currently now being alone, that is an intention of mine. I want to learn how to depend on myself for comfort, for happiness, for validation, for emotional soothing. I feel like I have always had a habit of going to people to be emotionally soothed. Like I said, my ex-partner, I went to him a lot for that. And also, like, guys, I get it. Like, your partner, like, that's what they're there for. Like, they're there to be there for you. But I guess, I don't know, guys. Maybe I want to be a Miss Independent now. But I just realizing that I kind of want to find my power in myself again. Instead of depending on everything else for happiness, I just want to depend on myself. But because I'm so all or nothing, I don't want to get into hyper independence. And that's a whole nother conversation. But I tend to, instead of being in the middle, I like gravitate towards the end of the scales. So I need to watch out for that too. Like as I'm trying to become more independent, I don't want to get to a place where I'm like, oh, I don't need anyone, because that's not healthy either. Like, we all crave connection. So I will watch out for that. I honestly just want to know what life feels like when the only person I truly care about is myself. And I know that seems kind of cold, but when you lived a life of always caring about someone, or maybe even caring about them more than you care about yourself, it gets kind of draining, and you start to get curious about what life looks like when you're not doing that. And I kind of feel like that's where I'm at. Like, I'm trying to be more selfish. I'm trying to be more selfish with my time and my energy. And I kind of just want to pour into myself. I just want to see what Veda looks like when she only depends on herself and only cares about herself and doesn't need to depend on anyone for anything, any validation, or any emotional soothing. That's where I'm at. And it's definitely not easy. Definitely feels like a lonely road. But you develop way more resilience and way more character with this route in life than the route of hooking up and going on dating apps and fucking texting everyone under the sun. Because I feel like, guys, like I talk about that life like I'm insulting it because I am. Like I just find that life ridiculous. And I get to say that because I used to be like that. And I don't want to be like that anymore. There's some peace. No, there's a lot of peace to the life I have right now. Although it's lonely, it's pretty peaceful. I'll tell you that much. And I'm kind of just trying to enjoy the peace of it. That calm, peaceful feeling, I'm trying to enjoy that instead of focus on the fact that I feel lonely. Yeah, I feel lonely, but I also feel very calm. And that's helping me get through it. So if you're also feeling a little bit lonely in life, just know that you're not alone. I'm in that same boat with you guys right now and probably will be for the next several months. It takes some time to get used to your life after going through a breakup and trying to do things healthy. It's hard making the healthy decisions, but I know it's worth it. I tell myself every single day that it's worth it. Ultimately, I want to be the healthiest I can be for myself. I want to have the best life. Like, why would I settle for anything less? Like, if I can have the best in life, why would I settle if I can have the best? And the way you get the best is by doing things healthily, by healing yourself healthily, by learning how to respect yourself and love yourself. And you don't just say your little affirmations, you actually do it every single day. That's how you cultivate a solid, good life for yourself. And I want an amazing life. And I know the things I'm doing right now every single day, focusing on myself, focusing on my sport, on my school, focusing on my mental health, going to therapy. I know although I'm really lonely and these things are hard, I know that they're gonna pay off. I know that when I'm 26 years old, I will be thanking my 22-year-old self for taking these actions. And I want the best. I want the best relationship. I want the best life. And in order to have the best, you have to become the best first. And that's what I am doing. I will end this episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed my little therapy session. This was basically like my little venting time with you guys. I hope you guys resonated and maybe hearing about the things I'm going through and the things I'm learning about myself could help you guys in whatever place you're in right now. I just hope you guys realize you're not alone. Thank you guys for watching this episode. If you guys haven't already, go watch my previous episode where I talk about how to stop being impulsive and how to develop some self-control, because knowing how to not be impulsive and have self-control is what allows you to be peaceful while you're alone. Like everything I talked about in this episode about how I'm learning how to be alone, if you know how to have some self-control, it makes that lonely season a lot easier. So go ahead and watch that episode if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.